I've been inside a lot of NDIS provider businesses now as a nurse, as an owner, and through the work we do building operations infrastructure for providers across the country. And what I can tell you with complete confidence is that the difference between the ones who are growing and the ones who are grinding is not what most people think that it is. Camille DG here, veteran nurse with over 20,000 hours of clinical boots on the ground, former NDIS provider owner and COO at Spacia Shift. And today, I want to show you guys the exact patterns that separate thriving providers from the stuck ones, because they are specific. They are observable, and almost nobody in this sector is talking about them clearly. Here's my promise to you. By the end of this video, you will know which column you're sitting in right now. And more importantly, you'll know exactly what to do about it. And I'll be honest with you up front. When I first recognized these patterns, I was sitting firmly in the wrong column. So this isn't judgment, it's a map. Let's talk about clearing these myths first. So before we get into what thriving providers actually do, I want to knock down the excuses, because I hear them all the time, and they're keeping a lot of good operators quite stuck. They have more funding access. Not true. Some of the fastest growing providers I've seen are running so lean. They're running participant loads. Funding access doesn't explain it. They have better staff. Rates across the sector are remarkably consistent. Providers who retain great workers, they're not doing it because they hired better. They're doing it because of how they operate. The job is clearer. The communication is cleaner. The roster doesn't fall apart every freaking Monday. They got into the market earlier. Some of the most dynamic providers I've encountered have been operating for only under 3 years. First mover advantage is a real thing in some industries. In NDIS operations, it barely registers. And here's the one that really gets me. They have a bigger admin team. The providers I see genuinely thriving are actually running less admin headcount relative to participant count than the ones who are struggling. Not more, less. So if it's not funding, not staff quality, not market timing, and not headcount, what is it? It's operational structure every single time. So the 5 patterns of the thriving providers. I've observed 5 consistent patterns in providers who are genuinely growing. Let me walk you through each one. So pattern 1, they run on systems, not on people. The thriving provider's operation doesn't fall over. One coordinator calls in sick, lives in the system, not in someone's inbox and not in someone's head and memory, not in a shared drive. Only one person knows how to navigate. There's a simple test for this, actually. If removing any single person from your business would cause an operational crisis, you don't have a business, you have a job, an expensive, high-stakes job. Pattern 2, they treat compliance as infrastructure, not as an event. Providers do compliance in bursts. I'm talking the 6 frantic weeks before an audit. Providers have compliance woven into their daily operations, where incidents are captured in real time. Worker credentials are monitored continuously. When the auditor walks in, it's a confirmation of what they already know, not a scramble to find files and all that. Pattern 3, they have real financial visibility in real time, not monthly, not at the end of the pay cycle. They know their billing position, their claim rates, their weekly payroll costs. Here's my quick test for this one. Can you tell me your unbilled hours from last week without running a report? If the answer is no, then that's a gap, you guys, and it's an expensive one. Pattern 4, they protect coordinator time fiercely. The most deliberate thing a thriving provider does is make sure that their care coordinators are actually spending their hours on actual coordination, not chasing timesheets, not manually rebuilding the rosters, not admin that should have been automated 2 years ago. Their teams are doing client relationships and complex planning. Everything else is systematized or delegated. This is treated as a strategic priority, not a nice to have. Now, pattern 5, they make growth decisions on data and not from their gut. Before they add a service stream or tender for a contract or even hire a team leader, they know their current capacity utilization, their cost per participant, and their admin overhead ratio. They're not anti-instinct, but their instinct is informed by numbers they actually have access to. Now, that's a different thing. So let's talk about the 3 patterns that keep most providers stuck. Now, here's the honest part. The patterns that keep providers stuck are not signs of bad leadership. They're signs of a business that grows faster than the infrastructure underneath it. I've been there, and I want to name these carefully for you because I know a lot of people watching this are going to recognize themselves in at least one of them. Pattern A, founder is still the system. I'm talking about everything routes through the owner, the roster changes, compliant handling, billing queries, approvals. It feels like quality control. It's actually a growth ceiling disguised as diligence. I know because I've done this myself. I told myself it's good leadership. It was actually fear that the business would fail without me in every decision. And it took me longer than I'd like to admit to understand that's actually why the business wasn't growing or couldn't grow. 10B, using the wrong thing. Many stuck providers are working incredibly hard on quality care, which is good and right, but they're also completely neglecting the operational infrastructure underneath it all. Now, you can have brilliant support workers and clinicians doing extraordinary work and still fail financially because the business underneath the care is leaking money every single week. These are not competing priorities. You need both. And C, waiting for the right time to fix the systems. We'll sort that out when we're bigger. I hear that so many times and I get it. I understand the logic behind it. It feels like systems are a reward for the team's growth, right? Something you earn once you've scaled. But here's the truth. You can't get bigger until you sort it out. Unfortunately, the system is not the reward for growth. It's the prerequisite for it. So let's talk about how providers cross from one column to the other. So what does the crossing actually look like in reality, in practice? It's not one big leap. It's 3 infrastructure changes, and they're made deliberately and in sequence. So first, centralize your operational data. One place, one system. I'm talking about for rostering, counseling, visibility, not 3 damn spreadsheets, 2 apps, and a WhatsApp group chat. One place where anyone on your team can see what's actually happening without hunting for it. Second, build a weekly operational rhythm, a 30-minute check-in every week against 3 numbers: your billing position, compliance status, roster fill rate. That's it. You don't need 2-hour ops meetings. You need 30 minutes and 3 numbers every single week without fail. And remove yourself from one manual process each month, systematically, 1 per month until your operation is running without you in the loop for daily tasks. Not all at once. That's not how things break. 1 process, 1 month, and hand it off and move to the next. The owners I know who are genuinely scaling serious right now, they're counterintuitively working fewer hours in the business than they were a couple of years ago. Not because they worked less hard, because they built the infrastructure to operate without them. And that's exactly why I helped build SpeciaShift. Not another tool to your stack, but to be the infrastructure that makes all 3 of those changes possible in one place. Because I was the pattern A founder, I was the manual systems guy, and I've built now what I genuinely wish that I had back then. So here's what I want you to do right now. Take those 5 thriving patterns I just walked you through: the systems, science, visibility, coordination, time, data-led decisions, and give yourself an honest score, 1 to 5 on each of those. Not where you want to be, where you actually are today. If your total is under 15, you've just found your growth plan. And if you want to see what the infrastructure side of that looks like in practice, see the link in the description. Sit in your browser and see if you and your team qualify for our free 14-day trial. No credit card needed and full human support throughout the whole trial. You might even get me on the call. We'll walk you through your actual operation and show you exactly what the crossing looks like for your business specifically. And drop a comment below. Which pattern hits closest to home? It's an A, B, or C. I read every single one. No fluff, no judgment, just real conversation with people who are doing the same hard thing that you are. And if this landed, share it with another owner, a provider, or send it to your ops manager if you work in the team, because the clearer the sector sees itself, the better it runs for everyone in it, especially for our participants, you guys. Looking forward to catching up with you. Till the next video. See you. Take care.